What up, everybody? Welcome to the Opps SportsCast. We got a crazy week for you. Crazy week in sports going down even right now. My Knicks up and running. Yes, I'm wearing the jersey backwards because I got to represent my man Captain Clutch Brunson in the building. Hey, we got a crazy show. I'm going to give you a rundown of what we're talking about today. Draymond Green in the news talking about that he doesn't like how he's being officiated or being viewed because they see him as an angry black man. We're gonna get into that, chop it up a little bit. Paul Pierce making the news, talking about how that marriage is for the broke and for the old people. So that's some crazy stuff. And so we're also going to be getting into the news that happened. I think it was a couple weeks ago. We didn't cover it at the time, but we're going to try to get into it if we have some time. We're going to be talking about the transgender in sports, where we had a fencer actually take a knee rather than to compete against a transgender athlete in a competition that happened, I believe, in Maryland. So crazy episode. We got the weekly roundup as always. And so if you guys are new, make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Share this with your friends. Hopefully, we get some good conversation going. By all means, if you're out there, make sure you comment, leave some comments in the chat, and we'll pop it up on the screen live. But let me introduce the crew that we got with us today. Let's start it off with my man Dave.
It's Dave in the cut, the one and only.
Yes, sir. I'm Josh from Eastside.
It's your boy Big Zeke back with you one more again.
One more again.
One more game. Big
Shit.
Zeke.
Yeah. And so every week we want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Do we want to do that cut right now, Dave?
Let's do it, man. You already know. All right. Today's episode is being sponsored by Opposition Radio, bringing you the hottest Christian hip hop, R&B, pop, reggae, Latin, and EDM musicians from around the world. Bringing it to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can listen to it by going to your internet browser and going to the oppsradio.live. Opposition Radio, motivation to stand firm. Make sure you give a listen.
Absolutely. Of course, later on, we're going to have to talk about what's happening real time in the crazy world of sports. My man Steph Curry is almost eliminated. Boston Celtics almost eliminated. We got some crazy things going down, but let's go ahead and jump into our first topic. Josh, why don't you throw it up on the screen? But first, why don't we actually play? Do we have Draymond Green's comments?
I could not get them up right away. No.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. All right. So we're Zeke, are you able to kind of summarize what Draymond Green said, or if you have it like on your on the ready?
Yeah, I can give you the Reader's Digest version. So pretty much he said that he's tired of the league and the media trying to portray him out as the angry black man. He was given his fifth technical of the playoffs, which was kind of hard to do. So not a whole lot of games being played, but he's already got five, one away from being suspended. And he kind of went on a tirade afterwards, saying that he was tired of how he's being officiated, tired of how he's being viewed in the media, tired of how he's being portrayed as an angry black man. It all started with a foul. He got fouled and he kind of oversold it and flailed his arms and caught the defender, I think, with the elbow to like the head or something like that, and ended up getting a technical or flagrant that led to a technical. I can't remember the details of how he got the technical, but he got upset and went on his little tirade after the game. So yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that, Zeke. Josh, why don't you throw the first topic up on the screen and we'll jump right in?
Yes, sir.
All right. So after receiving his fifth technical foul of the playoffs, Draymond Green believes that there is an agenda against him, and he's correct. If you guys are new to the show, what we do is we take a vote from 1 through 5 of how we feel about a topic, and then we get right into it. So we're going to throw it up right now. 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3. So we got Zeke at a 4. We got Dave at a 3. Me and Josh are at a 1. All right. Hey, why don't we just jump right in? Zeke, you let us off with overview of what happened. Why don't you just jump right in?
Yeah. So um, here's the thing: is Draymond a bit of a hothead? Yeah. Is Draymond a bit of a knucklehead? I can see that. Um, is he wrong in saying that there's an agenda against him to make him out to be angry black man? No, I don't feel that he's wrong. The problem is he keeps giving them the ammunition to make it easy to make that argument. Um, we remember how he got suspended uh, in that series against the Cavs when LeBron finally brought a championship to Cleveland. He kicked LeBron in the McJewels, I believe, um, that ended up getting him suspended. We already see that image of him choking out Rudy Gobert um, with the rear naked choke, like he was auditioning for WWE. Um, we constantly see him in the ref's face, uh, crying about calls and yelling. I mean, Draymond's what 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", whatever he is.
Something like that.
Draymond's a big dude, so anytime it's easy to catch a freeze frame and a picture of him jawing at a ref. A lot of the refs are 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", uh, skinny middle-aged white guys getting barked on by this massive black basketball player. It's easy to make that assessment that he's an angry black man. Draymond's problem is he keeps fueling that fire.
Hmm.
Um, you don't a lot of the it's been an argument for a very long time. A lot of times, mostly in football, you'll see it where you'll see clips of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning yelling at teammates and trying to get them pumped up, and they're yelling and they're cussing and spits flying out, and it's portrayed as passion and leadership. You'll see something like that from T.O. or as Bryant or Ocho Cinco, and it's portrayed as a tantrum or a petulant child or the diva mentality. Um, so that's been going on for a while. Um, so you kind of got to be careful when you're displaying that type of passion. That was his argument. I'm not an angry black man. I'm passionate. I'm very good at what I do, and the agenda is crazy. Well, yeah, and you gotta conduct yourself knowing that you can't go out and continue to provide these images of you being an angry black man if you don't want that agenda to be out there. They're not going to change their agenda. Uh, and I say they, it's a general term, but there's a lot of people out there that don't want to see rich black folks succeed. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So you gotta step a certain way. A lot of people see it as code switching or trying to fake it for the media. No, it's just handle yourself in a professional manner. So when they come at you, they have no footing to stand on. So yeah, is there agenda against him? Yeah. Is he correct? Yes, but he's doing it to himself.
Mm. I know, Josh, you had the complete opposite view of that. You want to chime in here?
Yeah. For me, I just have watched Draymond Green over the years, give himself the reputation of, I'm not going to say an angry black man, right? I think that was a bit far fetched from himself, right? And that was just a way for him to maybe take himself out of the spotlight and put more on the media, as in the one villainizing. Um, but over the years, I've watched him play dirty and give him a reputation like the Charles Barkley and the Carl Malones, and those big men who were rough around the edges and kind of was not afraid to throw the elbows in the paint. Um, so for me, I gave this a one because I don't believe at all that the comments on him playing a bit aggressive are not unwarranted. He's proven in his play style that he is aggressive. And I just looked up some stats not too long ago. And where do you guys think that Draymond falls over a course of his career? Where does he fall on an all-time list of technical fouls in a game?
It,
I would say second or third. I would say second behind Wallace.
actually, I looked it up. I don't. He, he's in the top 10 for sure.
No, he's not.
No,
Nope. Technical foul leaders. Zeke, you want to take a stab at it?
Nah,
Oh, you
just give us the
you're
list,
not
bro.
talking
I think
about
Luca has more than him.
I'm
during his
talking
career though.
during his career, technical fouls based on you're talking NBA career long. Right
No, no.
now,
Oh, okay.
Draymond Green is at number 20 on a
Wow.
list of all-time NBA technical foul
Where's
list.
Rasheed Wallace?
But you're ready? Here we go. Number 1 is Karl Malone. Number 2 is
What?
Barkley. Number 3 is Rasheed Wallace at 317
317?
technical fouls over the course of his career. Then you have the likes of Gary Payton and Dennis Rodman, Dirk Nowitzki at 192, Anthony Mason, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Willis, Charles Oakley, Kobe Bean Bryant at 166, Reggie
What?
Miller, Carmelo Anthony, Shaquille O'Neal at 150,
So
Jermaine O'Neal at 146.
Josh, before you go through the whole list, bro, you were at a 1. So this
DeMarcus
is
Cousins and Draymond Green at 131. This is the reason I brought this list up.
okay.
I gave this a 1 because he is in a list of, outside of some of the people that I'm surprised by, a list of notorious hard knocks players who plays nitty gritty, dirty ball in a sense. And to me, him being on this list proves that his play style matches up to some of the all-time rough around the edges players, and he's got no one else to blame but himself for putting him on the list.
I'm gonna go next if that's all right, Dave.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
All right, so um, I think I voted a 1 as well. I agreed with you, Josh, but for different reasons. Um, I think his statements are. Draymond was right in his statements. He said, "I'm an educated black man," and what have you. He absolutely is,
Mhm,
and that's why I think his statement is very convenient, very tactical.
mhm,
I think it's a sob story.
mhm.
I don't agree with him not one bit, and I'll tell you why. Let's first start by taking the phrase "angry black man" and put that to the side, because that's an actual trope. It's an actual contention. But let's put it to the side and just try to look at the situation objectively here. So, what can we fairly say about his behavior on the court? Can we fairly say and agree upon that he has a temper that exceeds that of his peers? Can we fairly say that he has a temper that exceeds that of his peers? If we can say that, who are his peers?
Isaiah
Are
Stewart.
are most of his peers are the majority of them are black men. The majority of them are black men. He has a temper that exceeds that of his peers. Okay, so are we saying this contention is just about Draymond Green, or are we saying this is about the whole NBA? He didn't make that contention. He said this is about him, not the whole NBA. And so he's saying that he's being targeted, not the whole NBA. He's being seen as an angry black man. And yet the whole majority of the NBA is black, and he's seen as having a temper that exceeds that of his peers. Now, you just gave a whole list and said that he's in that category. I'm going to make your category, Josh, be even more apparent as a damnation of Draymond Green's statements. Because here's a fact that you'd forgot to mention. It wasn't until I think about maybe 7 to 8 years ago that the NBA changed the rules regarding technical fouls. Because before, Rasheed Wallace actually holds the record for technical fouls in a season. Draymond Green will never touch that record. Why? Because after you get 16 technical fouls now, you're suspended. So before they would just get technical fouls once a game, and it was no big deal. He didn't have to worry about getting ejected. Now he does. Now every time he's costing his team. So in the era of technical fouls having a cap, he is the only player to hit 20 techs in a season. Keep in mind, 16 is that cap. He's the only player to hit 20 after that rule change. Rasheed Wallace had recorded 41 in the season. So to put that in perspective, in his era, he's not close. He's by far the NBA player with the worst temper. And if he has a bad reputation, well, we can point to a number of reasons that are self-inflicted. Not only did my man kick a teammate in the family jewels, he punched and tackled a Houston Rocket player. I believe it was earlier this season. And probably where I would say reputations are earned in the playoffs, and like you make your name and your statement in the playoffs. Everybody was watching that LeBron James versus the Golden State Warriors up 3 games to 1. He was the one that got himself ejected.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that the first time ever a 3-1 lead came back on, most people would say, well, that's because, LeBron James got lucky because Draymond Green took himself out of the equation because that man can't keep his temper in check. That's the guy. That's his reputation. So as far as if we can put angry black man to the side and just say this man has a temper that far exceeds his peers, and also say most of his peers are black, then we can honestly conclude that it has nothing to do with this with a racist agenda, but it has everything to do with Draymond Green needing to take responsibility for his actions. And even in this playoff series against the Timberwolves, he's flailing, almost hitting and punching and clotheslining people in the face. Honestly, I don't think he has a leg to stand on. And that's why I voted 1, because I mean he's just being ridiculous in my opinion. But the floor is yours, Dave.
All right. So I'm going to start with this real quick, man. All right. So I don't think that the whole angry black man thing is a bit it's a reach, all right? And I think it's kind of an easy way out really for Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green has an anger issue. I don't think it has anything to do with him being black. However, I will say this. There's a level of ignorance to how Draymond acts and reacts when he's on the floor. Like when he gets into these altercations, um, his role as a leader on his team and his role as a leader, period, as a man of color that has to go back to his community and face his people and answer for how he acts in certain situations, he should know better. So I don't. So the creator of the Boondocks there's a gentleman named Aaron Magruder. He's the creator of the Boondocks, and he made this statement recently. He was giving this talk and he said that black people have used up all of our earned moral currency, and what that means is for so long we've been able to kind of act a certain way and it's been tolerated and it's been kind of like accepted because of history and things that have happened. But even our own people are getting tired of seeing us act a certain way. I get tired of seeing Draymond Green act a certain way. As a black man, I get tired of seeing him uh, act and react the way that he does when incidents happen. So I looked up the 5 times that Draymond Green has been suspended during his career. Okay, in June 2016, suspended 1 game in the finals for accumulating 4 flagrant fouls. November 2018, suspended 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team. March 23rd, suspended 1 game for accumulating his 16th technical foul of the season. April in 2023, suspended 1 game for stepping on Domantas Sabonis. And then finally in November 2023, suspended 5 games for his role in an altercation with the Timberwolves. Those 5 instances, I'm sorry, those 5 instances that they spoke about, Draymond Green has lost a total of $3.2 million in salary because of those suspensions. That number is staggering. That number is generational, generation altering for some people, for a lot of people. That money is just gone. It's just gone, and it's for what? Because he can't control his temper.
Hmm.
Now, I like Draymond Green. When Draymond Green's not on the court, he's a completely different person. Draymond Green is so likable. Like when you watch him like actually talk to people, the dude is intelligent. He's not stupid. He just does dumb things sometimes. And in the heat of the moment, we're not perfect. But I chose a three because I can see, and I'm not picking three because I want to straddle the fence. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not trying to take the easy way out. I can understand the situation on the court when you're in the heat of the moment. You're fighting, for your season or whatnot. You know, emotions are high and all of those things. But at the end of the day, he's a professional and he needs to be able to control his temper and his emotions, and that's where I fault Draymond Green. I don't fault him for for being upset and being angry. I just think the reaction, to somebody else's action, I think he just really needs to do better with that. The man is extremely intelligent, and I don't want for people I don't like for people to think that Draymond is an ignorant person. He just does ignorant things, in my opinion.
Sure.
So
Poor
where do
choices.
we draw the line between anger and passion? Oh, I want to go back to that point because I mean, a lot of the times
When
when he's expressing these emotions is when he's fighting for a call or he something happened on the court that he doesn't like. I mean, we see players do it all the time. Um, why is it? I
when
don't
your
know why.
No,
passion
players do it all
supersedes
the time, but not
morality,
like him. See,
when your
I,
passion supersedes morality, and you start hitting people, when you start
Okay, I'm not talking about the physical acts like physical acts. Yeah, that's dumb. You're not gonna get a pass from me for stepping on Sabonis or trying to choke out Rudy Gobert, but you don't get technical fouls for that. You get technicals for arguing with
throwing an
refs.
elbow at somebody trying to defend
That's
you.
a flagrant foul. That's not a technical foul.
bro,
We're
he
talking
takes it too
technical
far,
fouls because
Reggie.
Yeah, but a flagrant foul beats.
you looked at the list of all time regular season technicals. You look at the list of playoffs technicals. He's at the top.
Hmm.
So why is he getting these texts for arguing with the refs and other players aren't? Because we see players argue with the refs all the time. LeBron argues with the refs all the time.
So I
And
see to
LeBron
answer
knows
your
when to stop.
question. To answer your
okay,
question, I think that he's used up his moral currency with the referees. I think they're just tired of it. You know what I'm saying?
I see. I agree.
And I
I
don't
don't even
agree.
agree with that.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying like
I don't even think that's
they've
the issue.
labeled them.
I think when I watch the Warriors, and I like watching the Warriors because I like Steph. When I watch the Warriors, he goes too far. He's in their face. He's jawing at them, and he won't back down. So you see the ref trying to not give him a tech and walking away like, okay, Draymond, we get it. And then eventually it's just they're like, bro, get off me, tech, right? And so this happens all the time, all the time. Like it's not like it's just like, oh, it's just him. It's like, you know how many like the NBA is majority black, bro. Like, you know how many like you said yourself, you know how many people argue? Well, okay, well, why if they're just after black men in the NBA, why not give it to everybody? Clearly, something different is happening with Draymond. He's got a rep that he's earned, a rep that he's an angry person because he loses his temper all the time,
Hmm.
and so that's not racist.
Yeah.
It's just him.
He actively admitted that during after that 2018 season, he had to seek anger therapy, like literally seek it because he realized like it was too much for him out on the court. But the thing is, time after time, he's proven that he, it's always like this when you're out at Cobb's Hill or when you're on the court playing pickup ball, whatever it is, and somebody follows you. What do they first say? You start arguing for a little bit back and forth, like, "No, I didn't do that. No, the first thing people always say is respect the call. Respect the call, right?
Respect the call.
Draymond does not respect the call. He does
Never.
not respect the refs. He does not respect the fact that they are there and they were calling the game on on the job, on the point.
There's a little bit more on the line on the NBA court than there is at Cobb too. So if a
Understood.
bad call goes against you, it could cost you a lot. So I
Absolutely.
can
But
understand him being a little passionate and not respecting the call if the call sucked.
with the same mentality, though, a bad call and you overreacting and you pushing the limits of fighting for whatever you're looking for can also cost you. Now you get a technical. Now you're out of the game, and you're an impact player. You might just lose. You might just cost your team a championship.
So,
So
guys, if you're out there listening, make sure that you leave a comment in the chat. Let us know how you feel about the situation, whose side that you're leaning more closely towards, and we'll get more into it online. Let's move on to the next topic. We got some good stuff for you today. I think we might actually have the video on this one. Paul Pierce. He was on a podcast, and they were asking him some questions about how he felt about marriage. And Josh, if you got that queued up, go ahead and play it.
here we go.
Marriage is for old people and poor people
Okay, so let's get into that. Why?
because when you broke, our parents, like my moms and all them, they married on a merit of like, okay, we're gonna put our incomes together, have all these kids, and then when our kids, we're gonna have 5, 10 kids. Back in the '60s, all them, they're gonna
Yeah.
have 5, 10 kids so they can work and bring income.
Yeah.
So you poor, so you married for that, and now when you get old, somebody that to be by your side to take care of you. Outside of that, it's no advantage to a man. What does it do for a man when things go south? Like we gonna have to give up half our this, pay child support, pay. But what do the? It's only advantageous to a woman. Like it's real talk.
But what if you meet a woman and you're like, wow, she's a gem, she's valuable,
We
she's
could be
everything, and I
together.
want to lock her down in marriage?
I don't want to lock no woman down. We could be cool
So you're telling me right now today,
today.
you on January 4th, you do not want to be in a relationship ever again?
I don't think it's realistic long term until I turn 70.
I am done. I've never been more done.
I'm 47 right now.
You can
Until I
stop it
turn
there.
70, that's the only.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Crazy work. But I mean, the headline there is that Paul Pierce believes. Why don't you throw our tag up for the second retired Boston Celtic and former NBA champion Paul Pierce says that marriage is for old people and poor people. This point of view has merit in today's modern society. I got a feeling, since we're all brothers here, that I got a feeling how we're gonna vote. But let's get in and do that anyway. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Okay. And we got some heads butting. All right, I had
So
Zeke
what we
lead off
got? We
last.
got. I'm one. He's on one. Zeke, where were you?
Zeke was
I had a
Zeke was
4.
Josh, where were you?
4.
Okay.
I was at a 1
For the radio heads.
for the radio heads. My fault. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we got some division in the house. All right, let's go back and forth here. I had Zeke lead off last time. Josh, say it with your chest, bro.
All right. I'm strictly going based off of what this quote, what this statement says. Paul Pierce says marriage is for old people and poor people. This point of view has merit in today's modern society. I'm going to say yes. Times don't get any better. We know that, right? And let me just state for the record, I don't agree with Paul Pierce's statement on marriage. I only said a 4 because I know what today's society is like. I know that today's society does not value marriage. I know that today's society actually fights against what God has established when it comes to the relationship between male and female, right? And so I gave this a 4 because Paul Pierce is truly speaking for today's society when he says there is no value to the person in today's society when it comes to marriage because of all the difficulties and the societal norm of getting the quick fix now and not um, not committing. That's the best way I could put it. And although I don't agree, I gave this a 4 based on this statement because it is a point of view that has merit in today's modern society. And I should
So
say
just to clarify for the audience, you think that this has merit means that it's valid, right?
it's valid.
It that what he's saying is valid by today's standards, by today's
Worldly standards, yes,
right. Okay. Wow.
absolutely.
Wow. I'm floored. Go ahead, Dave. Why don't you jump in?
Man, Paul Pierce is an idiot, man. I don't listen to anything Paul Pierce has to say, man. All right. So first of all, I the statement that we had up where it says his point of view holds merit in today's in society today or whatever, however it was worded, right? I cut it off where at I stopped looking at it where it says this point of view holds merit because it doesn't. Marriage is about being with the person that you love. It's about a lifelong commitment to that person. It doesn't have anything to do about what your financial situation is at the time. It doesn't have anything to do with how old you are at the time. Just making sure you're of legal age to get married. Um, it doesn't have anything to do with your future plans. Like we're going to get married so that we can do this. Because plans change. The best made plans are of mice and men. That's the old saying, right? Those plans could change at any point. So we're getting this comment from somebody that once claimed that he was a better shooter than Klay Thompson. The dude also said that um, he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. Really? Okay. And he remember when he also I think it was in 2019 he said that the series was over. The Celtics, we're gonna clinch. Win the Eastern Conference Finals. It was over after the Celtics beat the Bucks in Game 1 of all games. Okay. Paul Pierce has a history of making crazy comments like this, and his comment to me just reeks of him being bitter because he made a bad decision in a relationship that cost him money, and um, and it's probably I don't know the man, and I don't want to speak bad about him, but I mean I do think the things that he says are idiotic. I think he does act idiotic. I don't think
Reflective of his heart.
what's that?
Reflective of his heart.
Yeah, I just don't think I think Paul Pierce just speaks, man. He doesn't really think about what he's saying. He's just like, it's not even a hot take. He just opens his mouth and he just puts out nonsense. If I can understand him looking at it from his parents' point of view and seeing, what his parents' situation was. But then when he kicked into talking about what does the man get out of it, right?
Mhm.
The man gets a wife out of it, and the wife gets a husband out of it. And then he says, "What happens if when it goes south? What happens to the man?" Well, it's the man's job to make sure it doesn't go south. So you not if it's going south, look at yourself. What are you doing as a man? Are you a godly man? Are you a man that's leaning on God to help you make good decisions in your home? You feel what I'm saying? And I think a major part of what's going on with Paul Pierce's statement is that he's missing God in his life.
Okay.
I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Uh, yeah. Profound, man. Zeke. Well, you voted a 4,
Yeah,
so you're in line with Josh's vote here. Tell us what you think.
absolutely. My reasoning was pretty much the exact same as Josh. I didn't give it a 5 just in case my wife is watching. She would have came around the corner, smacked me upside the head before I had a chance to explain myself. But yeah, as far as today's society, that's what the view of marriage is. Like everybody's their mindset is what's in it for me. Like he's talking about how does it benefit a man. I've seen plenty of arguments asking what does it benefit a woman to get married. Um, I mean, I've been at this almost 20 years, and every day I um find myself wandering the social media streets. I thank God for my wife because if I had to deal with trying to find a woman from the modern day dating pool, I probably would have given up a long time ago. Um, the viewpoints of relationships and marriage um, don't line up for the most part with anything that I mean, you got the four of us on here, we're all married. Um, and I'm pretty confident in saying that we're all happy with our spouses. Um, we're not worried about the what happens if things go south and what does it benefit me and all that because we're not worried about the what ifs because we have that backing as long as we keep God as the center of our marriage. Whatever comes our way, we can ride the wave and survive the storm. But a lot of times people are splitting up because I thought I told you I don't like chicken breast. Why we having chicken breast again? You know what? I want a divorce. Like if the wind blows the wrong way, people looking for reasons to split up. Um, because we're in that microwave society where everything has to be perfect right away, and if it's not, well, I know what such and such went through, so you know what? That's a red flag, and that's a red flag. Everybody's so quick to jump ship and not ride the wave. So, yeah, today's modern day society, his point of view is the standard point of view. Do I agree with it? No. Do I think he's in the yes? I'm mad that Dave beat me to it because I was going to say Paul Pierce been taking L's ever since he sat on national TV and said he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. And Jalen Rose came back from a commercial break and ran down all their career achievements and had Michelle Beadle as the hype man in the background. And you could see like his soul just leave his body after
He did, man.
each point that Jalen made. It was like, oh dang, oh wow, dang, I sucked. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't agree with him, but I don't agree with modern day society's point of view. And unfortunately, what he spoke is how the majority of modern day society feels about marriage.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna probably start it off with this. Like, I think like marriage, biblically, like many things in the Bible, has always been counterculture.
Mhm.
Always.
Yep.
The natural inclination of man is not to be monogamous.
Mhm.
The natural inclination of man is to try to accumulate as many women, as many it, to spread our seed far and wide. This is a PG rated show, right? And
Yes, it
so
is.
marriage has always been countercultural. So that's why I gave this a one, because I don't agree. Even if you want to like do what Dave did and end it at merit in today's modern society, today's society is no different than in societies past. Our natural inclination has never been to be in a monogamous relationship. I want to actually bring this to the scripture that came to mind when I first saw this topic, and I just thought it was ridiculous. It was Ephesians chapter 5. It says, "Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two should become one." Right? This mystery is profound. Why does it say mystery? Right? And I'm saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. And so this mystery is profound. And I'm saying that it refers to Christ and the church because for the Christian, marriage is a reflection of Christ's relationship to the church, right? And so, what is Christ's relationship to the church? It's a sacrificial relationship, right?
Mhm.
He laid his life down for his sheep. He laid his life down for his bride. And that's exactly what happens in a marriage. And I think we kind of forgot that context. If you want to say in a modern society, I say it's always been like that. We tend to not acknowledge, the true definition of marriage, especially, in America where, they kind of like watered it down with the whole LGBT movement. It kind of got watered down in even a greater way. But divorce rates being really high, and the courts ruling in favor of women. I understand men's disenchantment with how marriage has kind of shaken out for them. But at the end of the day, what marriage has always been, it's a teacher of the Christian man of how to live sacrificially, right? It's not about you. But that's the problem with a lot of, if you want to say modern people, I say it's always kind of been like that, is we're selfish beings. But we just kind of made flowery words for that. And so you'll see a lot of like modern women talking about like, man, I realized I just had to love myself and I had to get out of that relationship. You know what I mean? That, what do you mean love yourself? You just mean you needed to be selfish? Because it's not about you. A lot of people, and I used to say this, like, a lot of people think, oh, marriage is about love. Marriage is not necessarily about love. Not, not in that kind of like,
Not
not love,
solely.
not love in the sense of like, where there's different types of love. Not love in the sense of like a passion kind of love. Love in
Sure.
the sense of like, bro, I would do anything for you. I would lay my life down for you.
A
And so
commitment.
that's
Yes.
what marriage is about. He doesn't understand what marriage is about. He's not Christian, clearly, right? So he doesn't he's all about himself. He's a very selfish person. I would add this to I always said this when even when I used to be a youth pastor way back in the day. To attract the person that you want, you need to be the person they want. And what does that mean? That involves self work, becoming the individual that a person that you think is a high quality individual would desire, right? Because if I'm desiring a high quality woman, I got to be a high quality man. And if she's desiring a high quality man, she better be a high quality woman. Where is Paul Pierce looking for these women? If you're going out to the club, you know what I mean? You going out to the club looking for that high quality woman, she probably is not going to be there.
Hmm.
That's not where she
Nah, man.
stands,
She ain't gonna be
right?
there.
And so, what is the person that goes to the club? What are they desiring from that man? They're desiring perhaps someone like Paul Pierce. Hey, he's someone who got money. He could take care of me. And if that's the only thing that they care about, then yeah, you're gonna feel the way that you feel because you're looking for very shallow people. And so you're
Bro.
going to become disillusioned because if the only fishing hole that you're finding these fish are all like that, because the only place you're going is the club, yeah, you're going to be disillusioned. All women are the same. All women are like that. But that's because that's your fishing hole. That's where you're
Yeah. My,
going, bro.
my grandmother used to say your bait will determine your catch. So you fish with junk, you gonna catch junk.
And so, like, yeah. So I think, unfortunately, for a lot of young men, they're becoming disillusioned because of what they're watching, where they're going, and what they're around. Because we're becoming a society that's increasingly, Christian only in word only, not in deed. Like these
Hmm.
people aren't actually inside of the church, and they don't understand what the biblical values is and what a biblical Christian should be, putting forth. That we've gotten so far away where we let these comments slide. This is ridiculousness, right? This is absolute ridiculousness, and it's a shame that marriage is being put down in this light. You know what I mean? Zeke, you were there when I got married. I was balling out because I knew that this was it. That was it for me. I was there like this is a lifelong commitment. I understood the commitment, and so
My
I was
man
there like,
said
yeah,
this is it,
this,
like it was a jail sentence. Well,
Right.
yeah,
life's over.
hey, but at the end
Right.
of the
We
day, no
gotta
matter
get up
what
to the next
happens,
topic, man.
that's
We running low.
you're there for life. So yeah,
Dang,
but let's
man,
keep
why
it
we gotta
moving,
cut
man.
this one? This was good.
Yeah,
It
I
This
think
was,
so
next
man,
too.
but
topic about to be whack.
we up against it.
Listen, leave your comments in the chat and let us know how you feel about this topic. But we got one more
I'm
to
about
get
to
to.
leave some comments in the chat. I want to keep talking.
All right. So
Yo,
crazy thing happened I mean, it might have even been a month ago now. U.S. fencer Stephanie Turner took a knee and forfeited her match rather than compete against a biological male opponent in a women's fencing tournament. But her actions were appropriate for a female. Her actions were appropriate for a female athlete. So we might get deep again all over again. All right. Let's throw them up. One, two, three. We got Zeke got a five. Josh got a four. Uh, and Dave got a five. All right. Josh, I think you're the lowest one on the totem pole here. Give me that contrasting view here.
I gave it a 4. and I'll guess I'll be the hot take on this again. Um, although I do believe that she did the right thing, and she stood up for what she believed in, and she did not compromise in her moral compass. Um, I stand fully behind her with that, and I do believe that there needs to be some changes um, to bring us back to that former sports competitive stage where it is strictly gender based, not what you think you are, but what you actually are. I Part of me is like, you know what? If you're that good of a fencer, then you should have had no problem throwing the fence stick up and taking down this person who says that they are what they say they are. And, take it another step further and prove how great of a competitor you are and get it. But again, I'm up above the 3 mark. I want to make that very clear. I am in full support of her choice to take a
Josh,
knee and just own
Josh, come
something.
on, man. Josh, this is the second time you done did this, man. Come on, man.
Hey, listen, I'm in a 4. I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
Are you though?
Yes,
Right.
100%.
I agree, but if you was that dope, you should have just went out there and beat the dude.
Hey, that's why I gave it a 4. I would love to see it, to be honest.
You should have gave it a -3.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I agree with them. Like that sounds like you agreed, but then you like completely disagreed. But
No, I'm just
um,
saying you asked me why I was the low man on the totem pole with a 4. That was the only reason I gave it a 4. Because it probably would have been fun to see her actually beat the dude.
all right, who wants to go next on that one?
I don't even want to talk.
I'm gonna go next, man. My take is gonna be real quick on this. All right. I got 6 grandkids right now, man. I got 5 kids. At no point in my life or my children's lives did I ever want to see one of my kids step on the court, and especially my daughters step on the court, or my daughter be in a cheer line with the cheerleaders and look down and see a biological male either competing or participating in something that is designated for young ladies, women, young girls, what have you. Now, I there is the temperature is very high these days with these kinds of statements, and I'm talking strictly sports here. Okay, there needs to be a line drawn because a biological man is genetically stronger than a biological woman in most cases. When just in a general sense, where there's no weightlifting involved, we're just talking about just in a natural sense. I I don't like the idea of a biological male competing with biological women, and my view on that will never change. Because if I go to watch my grandchildren participate in sports, I don't want to see them at a disadvantage because some adults have got involved and made a decision that that disadvantage is allowable. Okay. Um, Interesting take here. You know, there's this battle between, the sexes. Like, even today, you have a group of people that are trying to not allow women to be women. Women can't say that I'm pregnant. It's got to be your birthing. They're trying to change not only the sports landscape, but other areas. And at what point does it stop? So I applaud this young lady for taking a stance. I think there's more power in her stepping down, taking the penalty. She got placed on a 1 year probation for this, um, and I applaud her for that. Take your stand. Stand up for what you believe in, and that's what she did. A lot of my take is it won't be a popular one, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we all here in this group grew up playing sports. I played baseball all my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's just the sanctity of sports. There's just some things that we have to hold true to, and we have to really stick to. And when we start giving a little in areas, when the powers that be start giving a little, then a mile's going to be asked for. We're giving you an inch. Oh, well, we want this too, and we want this too. It's like, at what point does it end? Well, it ends by not even starting it. It's complete nonsense, in my opinion, and that's strictly my opinion.
Zeke, you want to get in there? Or you want me to go? Oh, I can't even hear
My
you. You
bad.
on mute.
I was muted. My bad. I got the gremlin in the back making all kinds of noise, which means he's ready for bed, but he's fighting sleep. Um. So listen, I have no problem with Stephanie taking a knee and saying for whatever reason she didn't want to compete against this fencer. Um. We've seen athletes refuse to compete for various reasons. One of the most famous or infamous, I mean, it's it came to my head as I was sitting here thinking about it. But a few years ago, I don't even remember the guy's name, but the boxer who walked out of the ring, um, like seconds after the bell rang, he's like, "Nope, I'm not doing this." And like everybody thought he was afraid to get knocked out because the dude he was fighting was had that knockout power, but he was like, "I'm not doing this because the pay isn't fair," or whatever it was. Um, Listen, she didn't agree with uh, having to compete against a transgender athlete, and she probably mentioned it to the school because was this uh,
No, this wasn't in the school.
it wasn't I thought I saw it was like University of Maryland or something. My bad,
It
maybe it's
was
just in
USA
Maryland.
fencing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
was going to
maybe
say the competition might have been.
I'm thinking she probably brought it up with the coaches. Like, hey, whether it's me or somebody else, I'm looking at the roster. This is who they have on their team. What are we gonna do with whoever has to fence against this other competitor? She probably brought it up and got no support. So in her head, she was like, I'm gonna do what's best for me in my head. And if I'm the one that draws this other competitor, I'm not doing it. They don't want to support me, I'm gonna look out for number one, and I have no problem with it. Um, yeah, I hate all of the backlash and the scrutiny that she's facing that comes with any time you don't agree with uh the LGBTQ community is, oh, you're homophobic or you're transphobic. No, I'm looking out for me, and this doesn't feel right. We had
Right.
the one sprinter who naturally, I guess, naturally produced too much testosterone in her body, and she wasn't allowed to race. And everybody was up in arms about that. Well, that's a natural biological issue. Why would the standing committee not allow her to race, but turn around and allow a transgender to compete against other women? We saw this with Leah Thompson, the swimmer, at I think it was Penn State, was allowed to swim against the biological women. And I mean, I don't like where this is heading. Everybody talks about, oh, well, when you look at all the percentage of transgenders in sports is not that big a percentage. You gotta start somewhere, and the more and more they open the door, the more and more it's gonna flood the the pool of athletes. And I don't understand why we can't have a separate category. Like, we're not saying you can't compete, just compete against other transgenders. Is that exclusionary? I don't know. Everybody wants to be inclusive. Nah, I mean, go ahead and compete, but compete in a fair environment. You don't want the biological men competing against biological women. Same way if it was a transgender woman or a transgender man trying to compete against men. Like, I I'd feel some type of way if I knew that my opponent used to be a female. I don't know. I mean, if I body slam you, if we wrestling, I'm body slam you too hard, and I hear a little whimper or something, I might feel bad and fall back. I
Right.
don't know. So yeah, it's getting too crazy. Like we should provide them an environment where they can compete competitively, whether it's at the high school level or the collegiate level or the international level. Stop forcing people to have to take these types of stands because we have we had a boxer in the Olympics refuse to fight because
Main Khalif.
uh yeah, I
Oh, no,
mean
she
it
she actually was. There's misinformation there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but she was actually she had really high. She has high testosterone levels naturally.
yeah.
She was born a female, but everybody was giving her backlash because they were saying she was transgender, but she's not. She was born a female.
Okay, but I
Are
mean
you sure about
same
that? I
thing with
thought she
the
was
sprinter.
transgender.
Nope, she's not. I just
Are
looked it
you
up too.
you just looked it up? You
One
sure
hundred
about that?
percent. 100%. Imen Khalif, an Algerian Olympic boxer, was assigned female at birth.
Yeah, I remember those pictures. As soon as you said the name, the pictures popped up. I think they failed that assignment. But whatever, I digress.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
think
go ahead, Chris.
yeah, because I know we're running out of time here, brother. But no, I think that the fact that she even has to be in that situation is a shame and it's a mockery to the whole thing itself. Um, and
Great
it's
point.
crazy that a fencer has to be the one to kind of take that stand when there's so many other sports that I think are probably more warranted than maybe even her sport. I mean, because at the end of the day, not to kind of like completely go against my own comments, because I don't think this is contradictory, but we do allow women to be in the military right now. And fencing, like, I mean, you out there on the battlefield and you just got your little bayonet, the little knife at the end of the gun. I mean, that's a
My
dude on the
man
other
went
end.
French
No,
Revolution.
You might,
Bayonet, my dude.
89.
89. You're 89 war.
You're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight to survive.
You're
So
89
Civil
war.
War. Reload
out
the
of all the
musket.
sports, come on, man, this is my take. This is my
Muskets
take.
and
My take,
bayonets.
Come on, Chris.
bro.
Give us the
Bro,
four
it's my
now.
turn. My turn. My turn. And so, like, I would say, like, when it comes to like, like out of all the sports, that's probably the one that's kind of like the most ironic to me. But I think this needs to be said. Like when you're talking about like the way that our society has just degraded so much that we could even consider this as a possibility, like ignoring all facts that we have known for centuries and for millennia about the differences between the genders. It's appalling and it's an indictment on where we have become as a society. But it's actually biblical because when you look at the Romans in chapter 1, this is a very famous art thing. It talks about chapter 1 verse 21. It says, for although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal men, birds and animals and creeping things. And therefore, God gave them up to lusts of their hearts, to the impurities, to the dishonoring of their bodies among themselves. And it goes on to say some other stuff that are, just to be PG on the chat. They gave up their bodies to lust for each other. In other words, LGBT. And so I think it's crazy. I think the important thing there is it became futile in their thinking. I think most people, if they're being honest, if they're being objective, they absolutely know that there's a difference between the genders, and it's not to belittle females. It's not to big up men. It's that God has given us all. He's designed us in a certain way. We are to be protectors, and the fact that we're now throwing boxers, throwing fencers, throwing all these different kinds of athletes and putting our women in precarious situations, I think it's an indictment on so many people that have the ability to do something about it and they're not. And I think we need to have conversations like this to kind of provoke people to do something about it. And so, I think that's um, where I will go with that. We just need to kind of continue to push back against this nonsense, and having conversations like this, I think is important because I think we just need to be people that have common sense. Liz Jones left a comment. She said, "In boxing, there are weight classes. You want to put a featherweight against a heavyweight. Make it make sense. Women should not be put in these situations where they're going against men. Period. Absolutely, absolutely. And so they want to have their own transgender division. God bless them. Go at it, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any situation where we need to pretend like we don't know, which way is up.
Amen.
Uh, let's get ahead and jump into the weekly roundup. Unless you guys got anything that you want to chime in there. Beautiful, beautiful. What we got? What we got?
The Knicks lost.
Yeah, the Knicks lost. I saw that.
Oh, that wasn't in the
Yeah.
roundup. My bad.
No, that wasn't in the roundup, man. But hey, we're still up 3 games to 2, and we got 2 more games to play. We'll get one of them.
Steph was up 3 games to 2 against the Cavs.
That's enough,
Yeah.
Zeke. That'll
Okay,
be
my
enough
bad.
of that.
My
And then
bad.
Draymond, the guy who doesn't have a temper, right, Zeke? What did he do in that series? NBA playoffs. The new faces, Byron Scott. What's Byron Scott? Oh, I
Sexual
forgot about
assault.
that.
Sexual assault.
Sexual assault.
No, not that, Zeke. Read the quotes.
San Antonio. What?
No, you got to
Stephen A.
abbreviate that. We don't want to get demonetized.
Man, we just spent a whole segment railing against transgenders. I
It's all
can't say
good,
those
man.
two
But
words.
they get a little weird with when you start saying the S
Bro,
word.
but it's allegations. And so
Correct.
allegedly. And so
Yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly, it's in quotes.
It's
Not
alleged.
allegedly, but let's keep going.
Yeah, Jason Tatum tears his Achilles.
So
That was
anyway, so let's
unfortunate
back
for
up
him.
with that with the Byron Scott thing real quick, man. 35 years ago, the problem that I have with this is that my man came out and was like, "Oh, I thought she was 18."
Yeah,
Like, dude, you was 26 years old,
he,
man.
he didn't deny it, and that's the point.
Right, but it's like you
Bum,
was
bum,
26, bro.
bum.
The Lakers were shooting a commercial at a high school, bro, and you high school? Come on, man.
The girl was
What
there
are
for
you
summer
doing?
school. She was there for summer school, bro. Like,
What are you
okay,
doing?
I gotta stop laughing because that's not funny, man. It could be.
No, the lunacy of it all. You have to laugh to keep from crying, bro. It's weird. This dude is playing for the Lakers, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Showtime Lakers, you telling me in LA, all the women in LA, and you're shooting a commercial at a high school,
Yeah.
and you're looking at a girl that you thought was 18 years old. Give me a freaking break, man. Give me a break. I'm done. Sorry.
Pay the bill.
Dave, won't you tell us about the Bud Crawford and the Canelo Alvarez fight?
So I'll tell you about it. Canelo's going to sleep. Let's just say what it is. I'm a little biased, man, because my stepbrother is his manager, but shout out to Monty.
Dang.
Canelo's going to sleep. Bud gonna put him to sleep. I don't care about weight classes and all of that. You can miss me with all of that.
I
Bud
disagree,
putting this
Dave.
dude to sleep.
I disagree, Dave. It's gonna either go all 12 or Bud's gonna hit the mat.
Mm.
Canelo is a Mexican boxer who does not run away from the fight, and he has a chin of chins. Bud Crawford is coming up 2 weight classes. Bud Crawford is a technical fighter, and Bud Crawford also is an aggressor. So when you're coming with 2 aggressive mindsets, but one is kind of having to climb the ranks, and he's never had to climb like that before to fight somebody pound for pound. Canelo has power to literally fight people above his weight class.
That all sounds very lovely, but I'm sure Canelo has a nice plan until he get punched in the face.
Ah,
So Bud is gonna put him to sleep, man.
oof.
What is Canelo's record? Is like what, like 63 and like 100? Like I think he's like 80 something in like what 5 or 6. He
I
need to
don't know the
retire,
record
man.
off the top of my head, but all I could say is Bud's record really he hasn't really fought up until lately. He has not fought anyone of great merit, right? We're going to pull that word out again. He
Yeah.
has not fought anyone like amazing. His last fight against Errol Spence, there
Errol
was just
Spence is a good fighter, man. He outclassed Spence.
listen,
It's just that simple.
He's a great
You
fighter.
can't take that from Bud, man.
No, I'm not taking it away from him whatsoever. I like Bud Crawford as just who he is. Right. I like the Bud Crawford persona. I like the Bud Crawford family man. I like the Bud Crawford story and how he came up in the ranks. I just think that he might be a little bit over his head with this fight. But the numbers, what they're gonna get paid, bro. There was no denying it. And Canelo is right here. He's this could be possibly his last fight.
It's definitely
Yeah.
gonna
Gonna
be his
retire.
last fight.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I don't. I don't.
He gonna get that
I'll
Dane
let you guys
damage.
chop it up on that. I don't watch too much boxing anymore on UFC. Let's just John Jones would beat both of them if it was a real fight. Let's
Because
move
he's
on.
always on coke.
Yo, I would
Let's
beat
move
both of them
on.
if I went up in there with
Um,
a with a little.
MLB lifts lifetime bans, fellas. How do we feel about that?
About time. I said that when we first brought this up, like earlier in the beginning stage of this show, we were talking about Pete Rose and should the ban be lifted. It's a lifetime ban. The man's dead, therefore the ban should be lifted. I
That's a good
mean,
take.
that's it. And that's all. Lifetime
Well
ban
said.
means the
Thank you,
span
thank
of the man's life. Shoeless Joe, his ban should have been lifted a long time ago. He been dead for years. So yeah, good on the MLB for doing what they had to do, and we'll see how it plays out. I guess Pete is eligible to be on the classic era ballot or whatever, December of 2027. So we'll see how that plays out when he's on
you. Yeah.
up for
Nah,
induction into the Hall of Fame.
He
I agree. I think
deserves
it
it.
was long overdue. Shout out to Trump for
I knew you
sparking
was
the
gonna say something
conversation.
stupid.
We
Next
got you.
topic.
We got you, baby. Let's go. Next topic. We didn't even put down there my man Cabrera from the Yankees. I don't know if you guys caught this kind of gruesome
Oswaldo
news.
Cabrera, yeah.
Oswaldo
Yo,
Cabrera
ankles
slid.
aren't supposed to turn that way.
Nah,
It's not
they're
supposed to
not.
turn that way. He was carted off the field during the game as he was trying to slide into home plate. Didn't quite make the slide and ended up snapping his ankle.
But he
So
scored.
He scored,
he did score. So
my man.
shout out and prayers to Cabrera. We never like to see that happen, even though I'm a Mets fan. Never want to see that happen to anybody, including Jason Tatum, who broke his Achilles and had successful surgery. Call me crazy. I think the Celtics might be better.
He broke
Might
it.
be better without him.
Yeah, he ruptured that man. He broke his Achilles.
He ruptured his Achilles. My fault. I said it wrong. I think the Celtics might be better without him. Not for nothing, but they had a fantastic winning percentage with him not on the court. And I
Okay,
think
Paul Pierce.
guys just tend to look around. They tend to look around and watch him play, and he's not very efficient, and he doesn't really get his teammates involved like that. And so, who knows? We'll see what happens. I think the Knicks gonna win it next week anyway. But
Dude is an
they put on a good
awesome
showing
player.
tonight.
What?
So
I don't
who
want to
was
hear
the
no excuses
NBA?
when we beat the Celtics though, because we already had them 3 games to 1 even without
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
them. But fellas, I think we had a great podcast, some awesome conversations. You guys got anything you want to shout out before we go?
No, sir.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, Josh.
Inside joke, y'all.
Oh God.
Yo, shout out to the PGA. The PGA Championship is
Yes, sir.
starting tomorrow. I'm gonna be watching to see if Rory can follow up his Masters win with another major win. Um, Bryson DeChambeau was doing some chirping. I guess he didn't appreciate the fact that he played with Rory last in the last round of the Masters, and Rory didn't say a word to him. I'm like, dude, apparently it worked because you shot three over and peed down your leg and blew your shot at winning the tournament. So, um, you gotta remember, Rory is a Tiger disciple, and Tiger used to do that all the time. The mental warfare. He's not gonna be out there talking buddy with Tiger in the final round of a major. So, um, I want to see if they actually get paired up again. What'll happen? See, Scotty Scheffler, world number one. See how he does. I think that's my 45 seconds, so I'm gonna shut up before Chris hits me with the Sandman music.
Uh, well, guys, we appreciate you joining us this week. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you like and subscribe and share. And yeah, hey, we'll see you same time next week. Thank you for joining us on the Opps SportsCast.
Deuces.
Peace. Deuces.